So, joined by Jordan and Mark, thank you for taking the time out today. We'll look ahead to the new season, obviously, in a bit, but before we get to that, let's take you back just about a year. We've got that 11th hour call to say that you were needed here at the club to take over a squad of 2 players, one of whom thought he was retired, but we'll come back to that in a minute. What is the management team from now compared to last year? How are you different? What have you learned in that year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a initial baptism of fire coming into the club with no players and no staff. It was just myself and Mark coming straight into it, trying to piece together a team, physio, kit man, extra support staff. Obviously we wanted to take our time and make sure that we were bringing in the right people that's going to help us as a management team and us as a club move forward. So we weren't just going to go out and bring anyone in. We want to make sure it's right. Me and Mark have worked together for a number of years, so we know each other, in terms of how we work as coaching, as managers, and how we kind of work as people. So we knew that it was something that we were going to have to build over time. And I think, looking back, not just only as our management staff, but you look at the social media team that are in place now, the cameraman. We've got physios, we've got extra support teams. So we've kind of built that, and that was going to take time. But the first and foremost thing that we wanted to put together was a competitive team that was going to do well in the league. That's the priority straight away. Last pre-season, about this time last year, we were looking at a lot of players, bringing in players that we knew well, that we knew that could do a job for us, and that's still part of our team going forward. But the main thing was getting that core group of players to go and be competitive in the league. And then over time, we would, build our longer term plans in and around it. So it was quite a quick.
Mark, obviously you were new to the club at the time. How have you found that first year since you've been in?
Yeah, it's been good. Really enjoyed it, and I feel it's a community club. There's a lot of nice people around the club, welcoming, and it's been really good. A bit like other clubs I've been at before, but it's got a nice feel to it, and nice family club.
You spoke about the growing support team. You've added Jimmy Gray this season. How did that come about, and what does Jimmy bring to the table that perhaps you guys don't bring?
Yeah, I think last year, obviously me and Mark although we've worked together for so long, new into management, we knew that an extra pair of hands was going to be something that we would need, but we wanted to go into our first season and work it all out ourselves initially, and see and review after the season to work out what we needed to help improve the team and improve everything that's going on at the club. So we worked out quite quickly that we would need another set of hands, because me and Mark are so obviously with our daytime work at JV Pro, out coaching and delivering and coaching younger players throughout the evenings and the weekends. It's hard for us to go and work on some opposition analysis and scouting and recruitment. So Jimmy brings, Jimmy was someone that we were looking to bring in over the course of last season, and someone that obviously Mark's worked closely with, and I've known over a few years of playing against his sides and scoring goals against his team. So initially he didn't really like me, but now obviously, that he's going to come in and work alongside us, give us a lot of experience. He's got experience managing sides in the Conference South with St Albans and playing at Wealdstone, Hendon. Just that other set of eyes, hands, and something that we've got going on. Obviously, with myself and Mark being busy on Saturdays, we're rushing around, and Jimmy's going to be fully committed to the Kings Langley programme, which will help us going forward.
I guess, Mark, the new boots that Jordan brought out of training means that you've got now an extra person in the dugout with you while he's running around.
So it is needed now. We spoke about it, and what he can bring as a player as well is what we need. The quality free kicks and extra goals that he will be able to provide over the season. But then that left me sort of in the dugout on my own, sort of. So with Jimmy in the dugout, obviously we work together at St Albans, Barton, Hendon. He works sort of like we do as well. It's just an extra pair of hands. And then that allows Jordan then to go and do them bits on the pitch that we will need over the season.
How's it going to be managing the gaffer?
Oh, that's easy. Just make him run.
He's not done that for a while. So obviously you built the backroom staff. Last season was very much about consolidating ourselves as a team and obviously building that foundation. This summer has been very much about retention. How important was it to retain that core group of players, the likes of Isaac Pedro, Ray and Clark? Was that kind of the key objective for the summer?
Yeah, I think like obviously when you look at every successful team, in terms of our experience working in the professional game and with non-league, it takes time to build a squad. There's teams out there that can go and pay the biggest money and throw players together and hope that it works, but obviously we're slightly different. We haven't got the budgets that you know that some of the sides have got in here, so we've got to be creative. We've got to be patient at times, develop young, hungry players that want to progress and want to progress alongside us. But if you look at Isaac Pedro came in a week before or 2 weeks before the season started, and had an excellent season. Ryan Clark, again, similar, came in through pre-season and then didn't really know too much about Ryan until we started to play regularly in and around like November, December times, scoring goals. So there's players out there that have been key players that we have developed over the course of the season, and now coming into the start of this season, we know how important those players are going to be. Obviously, it's important to keep some of the experienced players we've got with Sonny French, Sam Murphy, Matt Hall, you know, players like that know the league and know the level and know how to, you know, buy into what we're doing. So yeah, last year was definitely about putting together a squad that we know is that can compete, that are a good group of players that will learn and develop, and then piecing that together, hopefully this season bringing in some more quality players to add to what we've got to then go and challenge higher up the league.
I suppose having that core, does that allow you to be a little bit more selective with the players that you do bring in to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, last season we had all sorts of players turn up for pre-season, and we just didn't have the luxury of being able to sign people straight away. So we had to look at a lot of players, and pre-season was a little bit messy in terms of we didn't know who was going to be here, how it was going to work. This season we've got that core group of players. We've added players in that are going to come in on trial and look at, and we've got, you know, hopefully some signings that are going to be made over the next week or so. But having that core group straight away makes a massive difference.
From my point of view, it was quite pleasing because a lot of the players didn't want to leave. They were happy here. And from our point of view, we want to create that environment. So people like Ryan and Isaac straight away was like, no, I'm in. I like what we've done last year. I like what you're trying to build, and we want to be part of it. Which is, you know, refreshing to see, especially in non-league where a lot of people do bounce around and they can see what we're building, they see what we're about, and they're happy to, you know, be part of it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that ties in, doesn't it, with sort of the community element of the club. Is starting to get to know players is really important for people around the place, and they've not had that for quite a few seasons now. Which obviously brings me on to another major decision that you have got to make over the summer, and one that I suppose supporters especially will be watching quite closely. Replacing Jarrell as captain is not going to be an easy decision, and it's certainly not going to be an easy task for someone to take over. How much thought is going into that, or is it already that you've got a few players that are kind of pushing themselves to the forward, you know, the front of your thinking and are in contention?
Yeah, I mean, obviously replacing JJ as club captain is always going to be a difficult task, you know, in terms of what he's done at the club. But obviously it's a new era and a new opportunity for someone to step into that. And obviously we've got a few ideas of players that have shown leadership qualities, you know, experienced players and younger players. It doesn't matter about age, it's about working out who's best to lead the team. And we're having discussions this week, and we had a discussion with some of the senior players, and it's sort of like the armband is one way of giving a player a responsibility to say you'll lead the team, but you're going to need 4 or 5 captains within the group that are helping to develop the culture that we're looking to create here. So it's not sort of one person that's going to, you know, lead the team and be that focal point, which wearing the armband does have, but it's a group of 4, 5, 6 players that are going to be just as important as the player that obviously wears the armband.
And then just generally just looking into the season ahead, what are the objectives at this point in time, and are they flexible as we move through the season?
Yeah, I mean, look, no bones about it. There's teams in this league that have got big budgets and will be looking to go and get promotion straight away. Obviously, last year we had to, you know, the main focus for us is making sure that the club's financial situation is you know, the club is sustainable and that it can carry on. So we're not in that position where we can do that. So we've got to be creative with players that we bring in. We've got to utilise our network and contacts with professional clubs and hopefully bring some loan players in, like we did last year with Mike Idapoku, who had an unbelievable, only 4 or 5 games, but kind of set the world alight in those games. And Gabriel Ortelli, Ronnie Sanford, that came in on loan from Watford and MK Dons. So we've got to utilise those contacts and network that we have to create a competitive squad. And the idea, yeah, we want to be challenging. We want to be right up there. You know, we had that aspiration last season and we just fell short in terms of not making the playoffs, which was our objective. And our objective is the same again, to go and, you know, go as high up in the league as possible and get into those playoff positions.
I think at the beginning of last season, we touched on the under-18s pathway that obviously JP Pro are heavily involved in. How important is that now that you're a year in and you're building that squad?
Yeah, it's really important. Like Jordan said, we haven't got the biggest budget, so we have to utilise everything we've got. We have got a good group of youngsters coming through. They've done very well in the under-18s last year, which was new to them. And as years go on, the players coming through are very strong. You saw last year with Tibbetts playing 4, scoring 3, Alfie Kane coming in, doing a job. So yeah, we want to, you know, utilise these boys, push these through, and they have got good qualities. There's a few pro clubs looking at these youngsters again, like with the Freddie Bewers and that. We want to continue that year on year and make sure that we give these pathways for the youngsters to play and also push on, and it will help the club, help us. And yeah, it's something that we really want to, you know, work on.